Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to another episode of Pan the Organizer. Today I'm talking about the 3PH system from a company called Labocosmetica. They're from Europe, more specifically in Italy, and they have a very stout line of professional level detailing products, but that enthusiasts can purchase as well. So regardless if you're a DIYer, a weekend warrior, an enthusiast, or a car detailing professional, you have access to these. Lots of value for money despite the very high-end level that they are. But today we're focusing more of a review on their 3PH system. What is that? It's a 3-part soap system at different pH levels. So you've maybe seen that in my past videos where I talked about using different pH levels for the pre-wash, for the wash, and for maintenance. And we're going to dive deep into that. But today, basically, the 3PH system, what is it? First of all, it's the Primus 2.0. So this is their alkaline foaming pre-wash for your foam cannon. So this is part of the pre-wash stage, right? This has a pH of 12. We're going to talk about pH, soaps, the qualities, and all that stuff as well in this video. The second part, or the second step, is Purifica. So this here is their acid shampoo. So this one here in the bottle, or when you dilute it into water, has a pH of 1 to roughly 1.5. So very low on the acidic scale. And when it comes into contact with minerals, the pH is roughly 3 to 5. So still on the acidic side. We're going to talk about all of that again in this video. These formulas, by the way, have been updated. So this is their newest versions. And last but not least, for maintenance, the third part of the pH system, this is their pH neutral. This is SEMPER. So this is their pH neutral shampoo. So the previous versions had the 3pH system. So you would start with the Primus pre-wash. You would follow up with the Purifica acid wash, either in the foam cannon or in your bucket. And then you'd neutralize the thing with the pH neutral at the end. However, with this latest update, it's now a 2-part system. So very easy to use. And we're going to talk about that. So your alkaline pre-wash, your acid wash, that second part, and that is it. You rinse, you dry, and you're good to go. And then for maintenance, for your regular washes on a weekly basis, that's when you still have access to the pH neutral SEMPER in the lineup, or whatever pH neutral car shampoo you want. By the way, quick disclaimer, this is not a sponsored video. Nobody paid for this video. And these products, by the way, were sent to me by my good friend, Eddie Cologne from the EC Details YouTube channel. Big shout out to Eddie. He told me, Pan, these are fire. If you haven't tested their new stuff, so this is the updated, upgraded versions, you absolutely have to. He loves them. There's also Jamie the Cleaner on his YouTube channel. He did a review of the 3PH system, absolutely loves it. They both, on their own respective podcasts, had one of the Labocosmetica representatives over. I think his name is Reggie. He's from the Netherlands, if memory serves me well, and he had a lot of cool insight as to why a system like this exists. By the way, don't worry, I'll leave the links to all the tools, products, and equipment in the description under the video for you guys to check them out. So all you have to do, as usual, is sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. So we're also going to be doing a demo so you can see the products in action, of course. But when we're talking about 3PH, this is not a new concept, by the way. On my own channel in 2018, I did a brand review of the Labocosmetica products, and they already had these products in the lineup, the previous versions, and they were very, very good. So they were kind of the originators, at least the first time I had heard of a triple system of a pH, right? And so today now we have many, many brands, including the Pro brands, that have the same type of products that exist. So if you look at CarPro, one of my favorite car detailing brands, so for the pre-wash, they have CarPro Lift. This is the pre-wash snow foam, pH of 12, so the alkaline first step. And then you're going to have CarPro Descale, either in the foam cannon or in the bucket wash. This is their acidic shampoo, pH level of 6. And last but not least, for regular weekly washes and maintenance, this, by the way, all applies for ceramic coated vehicles or for vehicles that do not have a ceramic coating on them. So again, last but not least, this is their pH neutral maintenance soap. So this is CarPro Reset. Although it's very strong, it is still a pH neutral. So we also have brands like Koshemi. So KCX, as they're known in North America. So they have their alkaline snow foam for the pre-wash. This is auto foam, pH of 9.5. This is still safe on ceramic coatings. Yes, I know they have super foam at a pH 12, but that I'd be very careful on coated cars depending on the quality of your coated vehicle. It could potentially, if you use it too often, start to weaken the coating, so you're safer off with this. This is basically a bit of GSF with Green Star, their all-purpose cleaner mixed into it. That's why it's the higher pH. So pH PH 9.5, very safe on coated vehicles. So that's for the pre-wash. Then they have a new product that they unveiled at SEMA, if memory serves me well, at the end of 2023. This is their RS Reactivation Shampoo, so their acidic soap. This is a pH 1, and they mention here on the side, when you mix it or you dilute it, it achieves a pH of 3, so very acidic. And I'm going to explain why we use all of these steps. And last but not least, for maintenance, the last step of the 3pH system. This is GSF, Gentle Snow Foam. This is their pH neutral. Either can be used in a foam cannon as a snow foam or in your bucket for the bucket wash. So as you can tell, this is not unique of a concept to Labocosmetica. However, they were one of the first to think about it as a whole system. So why do we have a 3pH system? Especially if you have a ceramic coated vehicle, we know they have a lot more chemical resistance compared to regular waxes or sealants. They have UV protection, gloss, slickness. They have very high resistance on the pH scale. So all the way up, sometimes to pH 12 or 13, and all the way down to pH 2 or 3 typically. Then they're going to have a bunch of properties like self-cleaning properties. So that means that your vehicle is a lot easier to clean during your maintenance washes. The bugs, the dirt, the grime, a lot of that stuff doesn't stick as much, so much easier for the maintenance, and they just look amazing. So their performance is awesome, and the glass bottle versions will last for many, many years if you take care of them properly. But oftentimes, there's a lot of different types of soiling. So on the road, when you're going down the road, so there can be Prestone, there can be brake fluid, there can be a bit of oil, there's all sorts of contamination that you might not see, but are on the road, on the asphalt, or wherever you're rolling. And then when it rains, all of that gets picked up and it splashes all over the place, and you get that onto your paint. Now, you'd think that when you wash your car regularly with a pH neutral shampoo, that you're cleaning the vehicle. On perhaps a visual level, yes, but if you were to inspect it very closely, you'd see that there's a film. That's what we call traffic film or road film. So that oily kind of grime that accumulates and kind of clogs the pores of your coating. So it's a mask or a veil, right? You're not seeing the properties of your coating anymore. So some might think that their coating is dead because they see the water just pooling, very slow to sheet off and no more water beading. But if your coating is still within its lifespan and assuming that it's intact, well, that's just because it's clogged with road film. Another type of contamination comes from the water, where it's from the rain, if your car sits outside, if you're through rainstorms, if you're next to sprinkler systems sometimes that go off, throw water on your car, or if you have hard water issues where you live. Note that water, when it evaporates, it leaves minerals behind, and those minerals can start etching through the clear coat if they're not taken care of, and that over time you build up those layers of minerals and gunk deposit and that road film, and it just again creates a mask or a veil on top of your coating. So you're washing your vehicle, you think you're done, right? But you're looking at the water properties and somehow there's no more water beading and the water is slow to sheet off. Well, that's typically, again, assuming that your coating is well within its lifespan and it's in good condition. So if you're not seeing proper water beading and sheeting, that's probably just because there's all that contamination. So the reason for the 3pH system, first of all, the alkaline snow foam. Why are we using that for the pre-wash? So the Primus here, this is the new version 2.0, by the way, higher concentration. You can dilute it. If you look at the instructions, pH 1 to 5 dilution for the winter months, the winter grime, or 1 to 10 dilution for the summer months, or your regular amounts of dirt. So if it's very dirty, your vehicle, do the 1 to 5 dilution ratio. And if it's moderate, moderate or heavy dirt, or you're in the winter months, that's when you'd use the dilution of 1 to 5. And if it's just lightly dirty, or you're in the summer months, you can use the 1 to 10 dilution. I'll talk about the instructions later because I'm a bit disappointed in Labocosmetica. I mean, it's just a hot mess of small letters. It's not super clear. They could have done a much better job. If I look at, that doesn't mean that the products are not good, because the products are amazing. We'll talk about those. But if I look at CarPro, look at this. Look how simple this is. So you got your simple dilution. So you got, what do they say, 1 to 500 per 20 liters. That's 1.35 ounces per 5 gallons of water. They keep it very simple for the bucket. If you're looking at the D scale here, again, very simple instructions. 1 to 100 for buckets and 1 to 10 for foam cannons. So I wish they would keep it simple like that on the Labocosmetica. So that's one thing they can improve on. Thankfully, though, their products are super high quality. So by the way, they are VDA Class A approved. all of the soaps we're talking about. This is a new governing body in Germany, that's my understanding. They came together to come up with a super high ranking or very stringent ranking to make sure that the chemicals that these brands produce are safe on all the vehicle's surfaces. Because there's a lot of caustic stuff in the lesser quality soaps that are used sometimes, and they can wreak havoc, leave streaking, they can stain, they can alter the surfaces of your plastic trim, the windows, the glass sometimes, headlights, the paint, God knows. And these are safe to use, by the way, also as per Labocosmetica themselves. You can use this if you're a mobile detailer in the sunlight, or if you're a DIYer and you have to wash your car in direct sun, you can still use these. Don't let them dry, because if they dry, of course, they'll cause streaking, but you just have to reactivate with a bit more shampoo on top, give it a quick rinse, and that should be fine. But note that you can. So VDA Class A approved, so very, very high level of that governing body that looks into those chemicals. So they're very proud of this. I think they're the first in Europe to have this classification on their soaps. So this is as safe as it is. So safe for all the exterior surfaces of your car. You're not going to damage anything. So that's good to know. So this one here, the Primus 2.0, better concentration. This is the new version, by the way, like they revamped their lineup. And so pH 12, we're going to use this to soften up the grime and the traffic film. So that's one part of the soiling, right? The oily based type substance that's on the car that a pH neutral soap will not remove. So you need something with a bit more cutting power, kind of like dish soap, right? Except this is formulated for vehicles, but dish soap is meant to cut through grime and grease a lot better. That's what it's designed to. And it's typically a bit higher on that pH scale. You can go check out, by the way, my video on can you use dish soap to wash your car. Have a lot of insight from different chemists in the industry. We talk about pH, what ingredients are in soaps, by the way, so you can have a better understanding. So this is automotive grade, higher pH. And by the way, the pH isn't always everything, right? Because there are lesser quality soaps that use caustics in there and harsher ingredients. So you can have two pH 12 soaps, one like this that is VDA approved and safe on all the surfaces, and another pH 12 kind of product that I would not necessarily use to wash my car with. So pH is not the entire story. There's more to it. It's the ingredients that matter most. But definitely this one here is made to cut through that grease, the grime, and to soften up the road film or the traffic film, depending on where you're living. Different people call it different things. So let's first start by mixing this so I can show you what it is for the first step. So you would use, I like a little application for those who don't want to use a calculator to dilute all of that. So for the Primus, you're looking at a dilution again of 1 to 5 for heavy dirt. And on the test vehicle today, it's my girlfriend's car. We're still at the end of winter, just been through another snowfall. There's tons of road grime. Let's have a look at the car, by the way. As you can tell, a lot of that grit, dirt, there's mud, there's road salts, all that calcium and magnesium chloride and all that crap that they put on the roads. So you can tell there's that dirt film, especially on the lower half of the vehicle. That's where all that stuff gets kicked up by the wheels and just attacks the body, right? If you leave that unattended for too long. So it's been a few weeks since its last maintenance wash, but yeah, just covered in minerals and gunk and dirt and road film and road salts and all that kind of crap. So we're going to go ahead and address that. So we're going to use Primus for the first step. That's the alkaline snow foam. So in regular non-dirty conditions, 1 to 10 dilution is fine, but we're using a 1 to 5 dilution ratio. So I'm going to pull up DRC. This is an app that I found. I think it's Phil from Miranda Detailing that spoke about it in one of his videos. So pretty cool. You can download it off the App Store, the Google Store, or the Apple Store. DRC, so dilution ratio calculator. You basically have access to ounces in the bottom or milliliters. So one or the other, depending on which metrics you're using. Let's go back to ounces here so you can see. So you would put the size of the container itself, so a 32 ounce foam cannon, your desired dilution ratio, so I'm looking 1 to 5, so 1 part of product to 5 parts of water, and it tells you how much to add. So 5 ounces of the product, 27 ounces of water, and that gives you a total 32 ounce solution in your foam cannon, and you have the dilution ratio. If I go over to the milliliters tab, so for a 1 liter foam cannon container, which is typical at a 1 to 5 dilution ratio, you would use 167 milliliters of the soap and 833 milliliters of the water for a total solution of 1 liter or 1,000 mils, and that's it. You have your 1 to 5 dilution ratio. So I love this because it is very, 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 very easy to use, and and it removes all of the frustrating part of calculating dilution ratios. I also have a video, by the way, if you want to check out how to easily do or calculate dilution ratios for different chemicals on my channel. You'll always probably find what you're looking for on the Pan the Organizer YouTube channel. We went ahead and did our dilution into the foam cannon. Oftentimes, especially in winter, I like to use warm water. It helps to dissolve the soaps a lot quicker and also has a bit more bite when you're using it either in the bucket or in your foam cannon. So mix that up. We're going to spray that onto the entire surface. I'm foaming on dry paint here because I want the snow foam to actually cling onto the surface to do its thing. Some like to pre-rinse. There's many ways to wash a car, guys. Some like to pre-treat with a rinseless wash before, then rinse, then foam, then rinse, foam again, and wash. Regardless of what you do, as long as you're using safe washing techniques, it's fine. So we're spraying that snow foam on the surface, and what Labocosmetica is doing, they don't want to create that too thick of a shaving cream-like texture because that can clump up and fall on the ground. What they want is more of a curtain, so not too thick, not too runny, but kind of a curtain that slowly brings all the dirt down, and hopefully you can see on screen all that drippage and the dirt in the pre-wash stage. Again, the pre-wash is not made to fully clean the vehicle in a touchless way, right? It is meant to remove 80 to 90% of the surface dirt, the loose dirt and debris, and to soften up the grime before the contact wash. So you're getting the surface as clean as possible before you touch the vehicle when it's time for the bucket wash, and that way you're minimizing the chances of scratches and swirls. So as much we try to use the chemicals to our advantage before we use any mechanical action, and again, that's much safer for your paint work. So you let that dwell a few minutes. I work in a controlled environment, so 20 or 21 degrees Celsius at this point, which is 68 to 70 degrees Fahrenheit, 45% humidity. If you work outside, it's fine as well. You might just not leave it as long on the surface. So you're going to let it dwell a few minutes. In my case, I let that on the surface for roughly 4 to 5 minutes, and then we're going to pre-rinse. So for the rinsing stage, I'm going from the bottom up. Now I like to rinse usually from the top down. I never really saw a difference, but Labocosmetica recommends rinsing from the bottom up. So I'm going to follow their recommendations until I'm very familiar with these products. So for this test, I'm going to follow what they recommend. So washing from the bottom up, make sure you do a thorough rinsing job to remove all of that soap. And as you can tell on camera, it didn't restore the hydrophobic properties yet. And that's another indication, right? So we softened up those that traffic film, but there's still the other type of soiling, which is the limescale and minerals deposited from water and other stuff like the elements, or you're washing water if you have a lot of hard water where you live, that kind of stuff. So that can also clog up the pores of the coating, and you're going to see how we're going to unclog that with the second step. By the way, if you still see visually that there's still a lot of grime or road film left, you can use the dilution of 1 to 5 in a pump sprayer, foaming pump sprayer like an IK Foam Pro 2 or a Marilex Axle series. You're going to foam that onto the surface again, let that dwell, and then rinse, or you can do a contact wash. So that's the new thing about their updated version. You can put Primus 2.0 in a bucket if you want to use it as a contact wash as well. And yeah, that's going to really help to soften up the grime even more if you see there's still accumulated road film. So always follow the instructions on the label for the dilutions. So now we're down to the second step, which is the acidic wash. And that's again meant to descale the surface, remove any limescale or especially the minerals that are accumulated from typically the water that's outside in the elements, or again, if you have hard water where you live. So this is pH 1 when you dilute it, 1 to 5. It goes up to pH 1.3. I think I saw in their video with their chemist that was doing a demo of this. So pH 1.3 in a 1 to 10 dilution, and those who dilute up to 1 to 20, you'll get a pH 1.5. So that's in the water. But when it comes into contact with the minerals, and they proved that using a certain pellet of condensated or condensed minerals for their test. And so when it comes into contact with the Purifica, the pH rises to roughly 3 or a pH 5 at the biggest dilution. So it goes up a bit in the pH, but still, you're still in the acidic range, right? And this was one of the most stable ones compared to the other acid shampoos. This was still the strongest one, even when diluted and even when in contact with the actual minerals. So by the way, all of these are safe on ceramic coatings, assuming you use a good quality coating, especially those glass bottle vials or even ceramic sprays. Those are pretty stout nowadays, and so there's no worries. This is not going to damage your coatings. This is specifically formulated, by the way, as a decontamination for ceramic coated vehicles. Even if your car doesn't have a ceramic coating, you can still use the 3PH system. However, if you have a regular carnauba wax or a paint sealant, this might be a bit too strong, so I would caution you to test, and worst comes to worst, waxes and sealants are so easy to apply. If you stripped everything off because you used the system, just reapply a layer of the protection afterwards. This is a great trio, by the way, to also decontaminate a car before you do all the decontamination steps with the clay bar, the iron remover, the machine polishing, and applying a ceramic coating. Great decon, and this too, Jamie demonstrated this, Jamie the cleaner on his channel, prevented him from having to use a clay bar because it decontaminates so well as well. So it removed a lot of that embedded contamination just with a chemical. When you're done paint polishing, some people like to use IPA paint preps or paint prep sprays, right? Isopropyl alcohol based, to remove any polishing oils. But sometimes in some situations, depending on which compounds or polishes you're using, that's not enough to fully remove the oils. There still might be some stuff that can impede the coating to properly bond on the surface. And there's companies, even like Geon, if you look at their instructions, they tell you after polishing, you're gonna rewash the car with either dish soap or an alkaline pH shampoo to degrease the surface properly, and then use the paint prep spray as well as an added measure of protection or an extra step before you apply the coating. That way it's going to properly bond without any interference from polishing oils. So to remove polishing oils, if you want to wash the car after polishing, this is another good one, Primus 2.0. You would use it at a 1 to 100 dilution ratio in your bucket, which means in a standard 5-gallon bucket, if you put 4 gallons of water, you're going to use 5 ounces of this. If you're only using 3 gallons of water, you'd use 4 ounces of this. You mix that up and you do a contact wash, you rinse, and that way you fully degrease the surface. So multiple uses from Primus 2.0. So for this step here, we're going to mix this. Once again, you have the opportunity to do a 1 to 5 for heavy to moderate dirt. And if it's very light dirt in the summertime, for example, then you'd use a 1 to 10 dilution ratio. So once again, in the foam cannon, 27 ounces in my case of water and 5 ounces of the shampoo itself for a total of 32 ounces in the foam cannon. I used warm water once again, mix that up. You're going to spray it onto the surface of the vehicle, and you're going to let that on there, but you're also going to use this in your wash bucket for the contact wash for more lubrication. So in your bucket, in 4 gallons of water in the bucket that I had of warm water, I added 5 ounces of this. You can use a 1 to 100 dilution ratio. That's what that is, just like CarPro D-Scale, or you can use a 1 to 200 dilution ratio up to 1 to 400. So very economical if you only have a very light layer of dirt. But in this case, with my girlfriend's vehicle, again, it is super dirty, so we're going to go for the 1 to 100 heavier dilution. So you're going to mix that up into your bucket. You have that sudsy water, and while the snow foam of the Purifica is on there, you're also going to do the contact wash. So wash the vehicle as you normally would from top to bottom. Flip your mitt often. If you use microfiber towels, 2 buckets, 1 bucket method, whatever you guys prefer, it doesn't really matter. We're focusing here on the chemicals themselves. So you are going to do the entire vehicle, and you're going to start to notice that it's going to break down the minerals and the limescale or the accumulated mineral deposits, and it's kind of going to free that up, and you can see the coating now reappearing and fighting the soap off, meaning that it's doing its job. So when it's time to rinse off the vehicle, you should have restored the hydrophobic properties at that point, and that's exactly what we noticed. Now, the Adams Graphene, this is the Adams Advanced Graphene Ceramic Coating that we applied on my girlfriend's car in October of 2021 when her vehicle was brand new. So it's been almost 2.5 years at this point when I'm filming this video. We're just starting to see a bit of weakness of the coating in the lower parts of the doors. The rest of the vehicle is fine, as you'll hopefully see on camera. But if we look at the beading now, it has been restored. There's a lot quicker sheeting, and even in the bottom of the doors, it's not as good as day one, but definitely better than after we did the first step of just loosening the traffic film, right? Some people might think, oh, the coating is dead because if the water was just pooling, there was zero water beading. But that's not the case. As you can tell on camera, the water beading was restored. The water is much quicker to sheet as well. If we look at the rear bumper, the same story here. The lower part of the rear bumper, it is beading water very quickly, so we restored that as well. If we have a look at the hood in the front, so some flat panels, we can see that the water beads are super round, super tight. The coating there is held on very, very well. The water is quick to sheet off, so no problems with that. Even on the glass, we applied a few months ago the Soft 99 Ultra Glaco, my favorite consumer grade glass coating. So that one too was rejuvenated and restored. Tons of water beading. The sheeting is super quick as well. So we actually restored the hydrophobic properties at this point. And now that it's rinsed off, you're good to go. That's it. You don't have to neutralize it with this new system. So you don't have to finish with the Semper as a last step. You're going to keep the pH neutral shampoo for your regular maintenance washes after that, right? So 1-2 punch of an alkaline snow foam that we used for the pre-wash stage. So this was snow foamed onto the paint. We rinsed that off, and then we moved to the second step with the Purifica acidic shampoo, which we also foamed onto the paint. We let that dwell, and we also put Purifica in the bucket for the hand wash, and we used the snow foam of Purifica as more lubrication on the surface. We mechanically agitated all that with our microfiber wash mitt. We rinsed and we restored the hydrophobic properties. Now, as I said, 2.5 years in, it's starting to be the coating a bit weaker on the lower parts of the doors. It's definitely still there, so it's still going, but this is said to be a 9-year coating. So, of course, as you know, I've spoken about this many times in videos. Ceramic coatings, when they claim those years of durability, those are in perfect lab conditions. In the real world, it depends on the environment where you live in. My girlfriend does 22,000 kilometers a year currently, or just over 13,500 miles if I'm doing the conversion right. So she does way more mileage than I do with my own Porsche. The vehicle often sits outside a lot during the week where she works, so it's exposed to the elements. We have crazy winters here with road salts, magnesium chloride, calcium chloride on the roads here in Montreal, Canada, so that attacks the coating. And of course, I don't maintain it as much as I do with my own car. I wash my car twice weekly. This vehicle perhaps once every 3 to 4 weeks. I try to do my best. But definitely not as well maintained as my own vehicle, but still it gives you a good idea of what to expect if you're in more of a northern climate like we have. So 2.5 years in, definitely still there. I'd say probably for the rest of the vehicle, over 90% still there. For the doors, probably 80% at this point of where it was on day one. So what I decided to do at the end is apply a topper, something simple that I liked. I've reviewed in the past as well. McKee's 37 Hydro Graphene ceramic coating. So up to 6 months of durability on this one, but what I like is the gloss and the slickness, but also the speed of application. This is a spray-on, rinse-off sealant, just like CarPro Hydro 2 Light, Geon Wet Coat. There are so many spray-on, rinse-off sealants. DIY Quick Beads, that's another great one. I like to alternate. I'm not sold to just one brand. As you guys know, I like to test different products. And this one here works very well. The results are great. So this is the kind of thing they say up to 5 or 6 sprays per panel, so you'd use a little more than a few of the other ones. So yeah, 4 to 5 sprays of the McKee's on the panel, and you immediately rinse off with your pressure washer or garden hose. So it's going to activate or distribute with the water all of that product, increase the hydrophobic properties. And as you can see on screen, after we use this, we definitely helped to boost the ceramic coating's properties. So the water beading and the water sheeting, this was going very good, almost like day one at this point. So this was a great maintenance topper that you apply in just like 2 minutes. Literally, it's spray on, rinse off, move to the next panel, you do the round of your vehicle, and boom, you're good to go. I use the blower to blow dry the vehicle off, and then you go around with a microfiber towel and a quick drying aid to pick up any residual water, whatever drying routines you guys have. But note that this system worked super well to restore the hydrophobic properties. So we thought that the coating was dead when you were looking at it after the initial pre-wash stage, right? You're like, oh my God, or if we were just to use a pH neutral soap and we'd still see no beading and just a bit of that slow sheeting, you'd think to yourself, is my coating dead? Now, assuming once again, it's well within its lifespan, that's the case of this vehicle. So coating applied 2.5 years ago, it's supposed to be a 9-year coating. So in theory, it should still be there. It was decently maintained. So the coating, we're assuming that it should still be alive. So with the second step now, so you're removing the road film with the first step, right? With the Primus 2.0, the alkaline snow foam. Second step with Purifica, that's the acidic shampoo. So we used that to remove the limescale buildup once again, all the mineral deposits. So we unclogged the coating. For those who think that a clogged coating is things of kind of mysterious, or is a wives' tale, or is a dream, or doesn't exist, no, it does. And I think we proved this once again. Anybody who has a coating, you'll notice this, I'm sure, yourselves as well. So we restored the properties. So if your coating, you think it might be dead, assuming again that it's well within its lifespan and you maintained it, maybe it's just clogged with road film and mineral deposits. Especially if you have hard water or you leave your car outside in the elements over time, or you live in winter months, definitely you're going to accumulate road grime. So give it a chance. Do a 2 pH system with an alkaline and an acid, and then maintain it with the third part of the 3 pH system, which is a pH neutral. Because for weekly washes, I wash my car twice weekly. One of my favorite car shampoos, the best for ceramic coatings in my opinion, CarPro Reset. This is what I'll use on a regular basis. But once a month, once every other month perhaps, or especially in the beginning of spring, as you saw the decon washes on my channel to remove all the winter muck, that's when I'll go to the 2 pH system. So alkaline pre-wash and acidic soap, whether it's Koshemi, whether it's CarPro, a bunch of brands now have these. And I'm happy to report that Labocosmetica's is working super well. They definitely improved their formulas compared to what I tested over 6 years ago. So this now I'm going by memory, but it is as good as my friend Eddie Cologne says. They're fire. These are gangster level soaps. So very, very high quality, made in Italy. Packaging is great. It's just they have to work on their instructions. If anyone from Labocosmetica is reading this, like, oh man, I have perfect 20/20 vision, and I really have to come up close and then turn the bottle and try and figure out. This was not translated properly by an English-speaking person. So I don't know if they used Google Translate, but the words, sometimes they make no sense. It's not vocabulary that we tend to use in the detailing world, or at least in North America. Validity term 5 years. See, there's things like that. I know they want to mention that the shelf life is 5 years on this, which is more than I've seen. And they even have like a production date. So this one here, they produced it the February 2024. I don't know if you can see it on screen. So production February 2024, and shelf life expires 02, so February 2029. So that's pretty cool. 5 years of shelf life. That's awesome on their product. So this is fresh off the shelves for Pan the Organizer. I love that. Again, thanks to Eddie for sending me these over. He really wanted me to test these, and I'm greatly impressed. Check out his channel, by the way. Some great stuff. You can check out Jamie the Cleaner, another great channel out there, professional detailer that tested the 3 pH system. He really fell in love. He used the previous technique though. I think the Labocosmetica representative, Reggie, told him in one of the videos that he used the previous version. So what he had done, he still, did he have the new products or the previous versions? Anyways, don't quote me on this, but he used the previous 3 pH system, which means he foamed with Primus and then used Purifica for the contact wash. And then he used Purifica snow foam, and he did a contact wash with Semper immediately to neutralize the Purifica. But in this newer type version with these updated products, you only need to use 2 of the products for the decon wash. So Primus for the pre-wash in the foam cannon, you rinse that off. Then you move to Purifica in the foam cannon, you blanket the vehicle, and while the foam is still on there, you also put some in your wash bucket, and that's going to be your acid contact wash. You're going to rinse that when you're done, and that's it. You move on to your drying stage, so you don't have to neutralize anything. You'd keep the Semper pH neutral for the regular maintenance washes after that step. So again, these are not things that you'd use on a weekly basis, right? You don't want to weaken your coating by overexposing it to these different shifts in pH levels. But note that all of these are safe if you use them once in a while to do what they're supposed to, decontamination. If I look at CarPro themselves, they also tell you on their own website, this is not for regular weekly washes. This is for only an as-needed basis. When you have mineral buildup, when you see that your coating is clogged, when it's not giving the hydrophobic properties that it should, that's when you bust out these kinds of heavier grade or heavier duty type chemicals. But for the rest of the time, just use CarPro Reset or Koshemi GSF, whatever you guys want. So I'll leave links to all of this stuff, by the way, in the description under the video for you guys to check everything out. Thumbs up to Labocosmetica. Amazing, amazing. Where does it stack up compared to the rest? Are they going to be in the Pan the Organizer 2024 Car Detailing Products Awards video? You're going to find out. My awards are always at the end of August or early September, so I'm going to continue testing. I like to be very thorough in my tests before actually giving out the prizes, because sometimes you might think that a product can win. However, over repeated use or different cases, different scenarios over time, different seasons as well, you might have a different experience. So I'm going to continue testing. I love them. If you have an experience, by the way, with the 3PH system, let me know your thoughts. What do you think? Drop a comment in the comment section. Also, I think their prices are pretty awesome. Now, don't quote me on this. Did I get the prices, the updated prices? Let me check. Yes. So Semper, the pH neutral, this one here, 500 mils or 16.9 ounces, comes in at $21.95 US at the moment of filming this video. The Purifica, how much is this? So this is a 1 liter container, 33.8 ounces, and this one comes in at $27.95 US. And Primus, this one here is again a 1 liter bottle, 33.8 ounces. This comes in only at $20 US. So it is very high-end type products. This is technically made for professionals, but enthusiasts can purchase these as well for your use at home. So they're high-end, but not too high on the price scale. And they're heavily dilutable, so a little will go a long way, but the performance is there. They have that VDA Class A, again, characteristic or thing that you can go check out. You should check it out, by the way. This is their VDA approval, so they're safe for all the exterior surfaces of your car. So you're getting something that is high quality for your vehicle, that will not stain or damage your vehicle surfaces. Whether it's unprotected paint that you have or ceramic coated, you can use this trio of products on there. And again, let me know your thoughts and opinions for those who have tried them. Have you tried a 3PH system from another brand? Did you try CarPro? Did you try Koshemi? Is there another brand I should look into for the alkaline pre-wash, the acidic shampoo, and the pH neutral maintenance shampoo? Let me know. I'm always curious. I like to test different products and report back to you guys. In the meantime, don't forget, keep it tight, keep it clean, and I'll see you on the next one.